We're gonna be shooting another. We're gonna be shooting another video today using the Seeing Eye GPS, but today I have a special guest, Chancey Fleet, who is an assistive technology specialist here in New York City.
I'm going to be showing the Seeing Eye GPS app, which is running on my iPhone 4S. I do have my speech on, so if you can hear it, great, but I'm hooked up to my BrailleSense On Hand, which is my portable braille display of choice. And so anything that VoiceOver says is going to show up on the braille display. And it saves me from having to worry about headphones. Now, it says that we are at 51 Central Park West. I can confirm that we are on Central Park West. I don't know that it's exactly 51. It also says we're at a four-way intersection and that intersection is 65th Street and Central Park West. So it's pretty accurate right now. We will probably see some changes in that accuracy as we walk down. Now I'm going to put this in my pocket because remember, I've got Braille, and I'll pull it back out if we can look at the screen, but when I'm moving I really have a limited number of hands. When I'm in a quieter environment, like in the park, I'm more likely to just use some lung conduction headphones, which are called aftershocks, and they don't cover your ears, and so you get the information, but you don't miss out on sound cues. But although those headphones do a good job of delivering the information, they're also kind of, I find them to be cognitively tiring when I'm also listening to traffic, and so if I were to try them here, I would probably get a headache. Yeah. And so I would rather take the extra couple seconds to just stop, check out the braille display, and then keep moving.
So we're gonna use the Seeing Eye GPS to map a route to the nearest subway station.
So what I'm gonna choose is the POIs option, and notice that it is working beautifully in braille. I'm looking at points of interest here, and I'm going to type in subway, and of course I'll be confronting the perennial question of whether I'm going to get a transit stop or a sandwich, but there we go. MTA subway, 66th Street, Lincoln Center. That's actually not the one that I want, because that is not a long enough walk for us right now. It is 0.2 miles away though, and it offers the one. Does it tell me that? Yes. It offers the one train. So not only do you know where your transit stops are, you know what lines they are, which is amazing. MTA subway, 59th Street, Columbus Circle, A, B, C, D, 1, Columbus Circle, New York, 0.3 miles. That is going to be our destination. Route creation, and I'm going to choose pedestrian route, and it says BTN, which is button. And it puts me at the top of the screen again. I'll scroll down a little bit. My route is 0.4 miles in all. And I am told that I am likely to be there in 9 minutes. And that my destination, this I don't buy, my destination is at 4 o'clock. Well, that's the opposite of the truth, but when I start moving, that should improve. So let's get moving. My first instruction is left on 65th Street. It's because of the way that it's oriented in my pocket.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And so I kind of know that so once I start moving, the directions are going to improve. If I didn't know that, I would just do something even if it's wrong and then look and see what happens to the directions, because they do update. Or if I know a little information, like I know I'm going south, I could make the choice to just go down to 64th and see if I get better advice then and recalculate. But I think I'm going to take the right. People have a lot of criticisms of all the GPS apps, and the criticisms are true, but the thing is, they're kind of, you learn the little tricks of the trade. The device is leading me 80% of the way, and I've got to provide the other 20% with common sense and practice. But once you live with the margin of error for a while and come to know what's likely, then the information that you get from it over your walk or over your trip, I find it to be accurate enough that it's quite a usable tool. It is giving me really bad advice right now. Okay. Which is to go through the park.
Oh, got it.
So, I'm going to go ahead and click recalculate. The location accuracy is actually only 600 feet right now.
Okay.
656.
Oh.
Really bad because we're in the middle of the block and it's totally blocked off by all these tall buildings. And so the best thing to do to get better results is to get to the corner. Let's see where it claims that we are. It claims it's actually not as bad as it thinks it is. It thinks that we're at 42 West 65th. And I think in reality we're at about 13 because my building is 15 and it's just one building away. So right now I have better advice finally. It says turn left on Broadway, which is accurate. And it says to do it in 80 feet, which would not be a good idea. I think I'd be skating down the middle of the road at that point. It actually becomes Broadway right here. This is Broadway and this is Columbus, like right at this moment it changes over. So that's my situation right now. I'll show you a little later. I also use a couple of supplementary apps to kind of work around that last 10 yards problem where you know that your accuracy isn't going to be perfect, particularly in a large city with a lot of tall buildings because of the canyon effect. But there are little tools that you can pull out, like TapTapSee and like Goggles, which are 2 apps that will let you look around and read signs. And in a city like New York, there's always asking a pedestrian, and I am fine with that option. I will be arriving in 986 feet, and my destination, it says it'll be at 7 o'clock, which is not, well, I suppose that would be about right. I'm going to pull up my POIs, and I will go ahead and search. I had a crash. My app quit without warning. The demo gremlins are at work, so the app does crash now and then, and you just have to restart the app. But I've been able to restart the app now. The million-dollar question is, did it preserve my my route, or do I have to do my route again? Sadly, oh, but look, history. MTA subway. Thank you. Okay. Snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Thank you. Pedestrian route. And watch MTA subway. That roundabout coming up at 934 feet. My destination is to my south, and it will be around the 7 o'clock position. Now, dare I click the POIs button that crashed me a moment ago? I think I will. POIs. Points of interest. Let's see where the West Elm is, which is a furniture store. I've typed that in Braille and pressed enter. West Elm is it's giving me one on West 18th Street. I found
That's
it.
really interesting. Oh, it's here.
1870 Broadway. It is 240 feet south. Now, if I were to click on it, I'd get the opportunity to set it as a destination. I'm not going to do that now because I already have a route that's in progress. Now, I've made it look so far like you can totally use the Braille display without worrying about touching the phone at all, and most of the time that's true, but once in a while it gets stuck at the top and you have to take the phone out and touch it, so just be aware of that. So it claims that the West Elm is now 59 feet south, and so what I think I'll do is walk about how far I think that is, and then launch this app called TapTapSee, and see if I can solve the last 10 yards problem.
You're using the Braille display.
Yeah.
Do you have to keep your phone screen active, or can you lock the screen?
I can lock it.
You can, and it'll keep updating.
Yeah, it's a lot like oh no, I can lock it, and then that kills the connection.
Okay, that's right. Okay,
When it
that's
comes
it.
back unlocked, they'll relink.
Right, so to keep the live feed, you have to keep the phone screen unlocked.
Yes, which is not a happy thing for your battery.
Yeah, okay. But that's good to know.
So TapTapSee is an app that, I forget if it was free or if it was $1, but basically it's going to allow me to take out my camera phone and point it at whatever and identify objects, signs, whatever it happens to see. So I launched the TapTapSee app. So I'm on the take picture button. I've actually got to take up my phone out and take a couple pictures.
Love it.
think this black escalator, so that would be good enough for me to at least go in and check it out if this is the right place. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled walk, and we can continue to follow the directions to the subway station. So my destination is ahead, and it's south, and it's in allegedly 600 feet, and I know full well that it's a little sooner than that. So again, take it with a grain of salt. This is where I would look at the route details and know that my last street crossing should have been, well, now it's corrected, it says after 343 feet, which is closer to the truth, I think. But if I know that the last street I should cross is 61st Street, then I can infer that despite what it's telling me, that subway is closer than it thinks. So as long as the directions that it gives me and route details are decent, then I should be okay, even if the accuracy wavers from time to time.
There's a lot of deductive reasoning that needs to go along with the use of a product like this. So it's not like I think Chancey said it perfectly before, that it's 80% the app and then 20% you have to kind of count on yourself and, you know, common sense and logic to make sure that you're really headed in the right track. So
when I first started out with GPS, which I think was in around 2003 when I was in Colorado, and it was the Braille No GPS at that time. That was just like this shoulder-mounted walkie-talkie thing that they had. Looked like a walkie-talkie. I would start out by using it in cars with sighted people driving. I would use it mostly at first in familiar locations where I already knew what the truth was, so that I could understand what the relationship between the truth and the GPS was. And then I would kind of graduate to minor challenges like, I wonder if I can find this restaurant I've heard about, and I know within a 3-block radius where it is, but I wonder if I can find it. And I've steadily increased my willingness to experiment with it to the point that, you know, I can show up to somebody's house for a field assignment. I've never been there before, and I didn't get directions before I left. And I will make it to their block, close enough to their door that if they come out and say hello, I will find them. But to think that that can be done effortlessly, or without you being willing to take a really positive, resilient approach to problem solving, it's just not true. The device won't do all of the thinking, or even most of the thinking for you. And that's actually not just a blind problem.
it takes paying attention. And it also takes some thinking, so this is great.
And it also takes your commitment to yourself to not be stressed and to decide that when it's frustrating, what it actually is fun. You know, it's like a puzzle, you know? It's a free puzzle. So just save it for when you actually have time to do all the workarounds, and it can become a really great addition to your other tools.
I mean, let's find somewhere.
All right. So we have arrived at the subway. I'll keep this brief, but you can tell from the music that we are here.
As you can see, no product is perfect. But what Chancey showed us today is how you can create little workarounds that work for you. So as with any assistive technology, or as with any technology period, we have to take the time to learn it. We have to take the time to learn what works and what doesn't work, and then how we can make it work best for us. So time and patience is what I learned today.
You can reach me at Chancey, Chancey, at chanceyfleet.com, Chancey, Father, LEET.com. I am Chancey Fleet again on Twitter and on Facebook. And if you have questions or comments or other things that you would like for me to check out, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you.
Wow.
Help me, I'm lost. With your hosts.
Well, that concludes our GPS portion of the evening. Are there any questions about anything that we showed so far, or